What's up, everybody? It's Spontaneously Pickles here, and today we are going to be covering the September 29th, 2023 episode of Smackdown. The pickles, the pickles, the pickles, the pickles, the pickles, the pickles, the pickle, 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 the pickles, the pickles, the pickles, the pickles, the pickles, the pickles, the pickle, pickle, pickle. Anyway, let's get started. Alright, so Smackdown starts off hot when we have Jimmy Uso coming out and Paul Heyman basically coming out with Solo Sikoa. Paul Heyman mentioned something about getting to do something different on the phone, than being on the phone with Roman Reigns, which I didn't know what it was, but I suspected that it was going to be Roman Reigns or like do they even still call it the Titantron anymore? You know, the big screen in the back. But unfortunately, as we all know, Roman Reigns never comes on, so it's like, you know, I don't like his title reign. I really don't, because it's just like such a like pampered, cushioned title reign. You know what I mean? Like there's no offenses. He's never on, so it's kind of like, what's the point of his title reign? And why is he making history if he can't actually defend it? Like, I feel like a real champion who should be considered for a long reign and making records should be someone who defends the title. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Basically, he mentions how the bloodline beat up Cena. Heyman then mentions that Cena's having some transportation issues and saying, you can't see Cena because he isn't there. He then points out that AJ Styles isn't there at SmackDown due to the beatdown that he received last week. Jimmy then asks for the mic, and then Heyman pauses. Then Jimmy looks at him and acts like he's joking around, but then he just grabs the mic from Paul Heyman. Jimmy said that Heyman is too kind, and the real reason that Cena isn't there is because he got beat up by Jimmy. He's scared of Jimmy Uso. He specifically mentions Jimmy Uso, not the bloodline, by the way. I just want to make that clear. So I don't know what Jimmy's up to, but it's definitely some shenanigans, I think, and it's kind of cool to see. I wonder if he's gonna. I still wonder if he's gonna actually betray the bloodline eventually, or if he's actually in on it, but he's trying to take control. It's kind of weird, but I don't think him and Roman Reigns are on the same page. Anyway, Carl Anderson finally grows a set, and he goes out and attacks Solo and Jimmy to some cheers, actually, which is the best cheers I've seen the OC have. Until later, we'll get on that later. He then challenges either Jimmy or Solo to a match. Solo's about to step in, but then Heyman stops him and says that, and pretty much advises Jimmy to go in. And Solo says, you better handle this or I will handle this for you. So then Jimmy goes in. Now, Anderson starts out the match strong with the fury of turnbuckle attacks, but throughout the match, and the second, he kept like mentioning how he told AJ not to get involved in bloodline business. He then also did like a very beautiful spine buster for the two, and he kept control of the match for kind of a bit. It was a short match though, until Solo like climbs onto the turnbuckle and distracts him, and then Jimmy Uso does irate, and then he starts his attack on Anderson, landing a super kick pretty much right away, and then the Uso splash for the win. After the match, Anderson still shows some fight, but then Sikoa comes in and does a Samoan spike to him, pretty much ending Anderson. Now, I'm usually not a fan of quick squash matches, but I will say that this was a good match because it was really good to see Anderson for once in the ring, and actually he stood up for his guys, which was really good to see as well. And he also got one of the biggest ovations that any member besides the AJ Styles of the OC has gotten, or so I thought, because Michan came out afterwards and Jimmy was talking smack, and then she layeth the smack is down on Jimmy's face, and then to a huge like, oh, for the fans. Nonetheless, Anderson did look strong, but despite jobbing to Jimmy, and he controlled the match but lost quickly due to being distracted and by a dirty move and a couple of good signature finish and a finisher combo from Jimmy, which I'm not even mad at, to be honest with you. Next up, we have Cat the Killer interviewing Santos Escobar. Nothing too special. She just asked at the bar where his mind is before the match. That he replies that he has butterflies and he's been dreaming of this moment, and he has a chance to make his dream come true. And mentions that may the best man win, basically. Afterwards, we cut to Jimmy Uso backstage. Jimmy Uso is really raging after getting the life slapped out of him by Michan, and he pretty much starts bullying the staffers backstage. Heyman disappointedly calls Roman Reigns. After that, we have the Grayson Waller effect. Waller introduces Lashley, stating that he does it all, but the only thing he doesn't do is being a good talent scout. Waller then mentions the Street Profits had a devastating loss. Lashley then says that he made a mistake and thought they had enough pride to make it in the business, but he guessed that he made a mistake and it's back to the drawing board. Waller then high-key plugs himself in Austin 3. He didn't even low-key. It was like high-key as high-key can be. And then Lashley says, I know all about Theory. And he will pass on that one, which makes sense because they had a really big rivalry, like I think last year or like the summertime, right? Like September, October, around this time last year, as a matter of fact. Waller then tries to make a case for Theory, but then the Street Profits come out. Dawkins tries to talk to Lashley, but then he cuts him off, saying he doesn't want excuses and that he wants if they want to do anything if they want anything out of him, they need to prove it. And then he walks off. So he basically, I gotta do it. Lashley, don't beat me up. Please don't beat me up, because you know I gotta do it. Listen, it doesn't matter if you want anything out of me. You gotta prove it. Lashley's gonna spear me. He's gonna spear the life out of her. Lashley, remember, I am in girl form, and you cannot hit a girl in WWE or in real life. Real life is also wrong too, by the way. But especially WWE rules, the man can't hit the woman, and right now this pickle is a woman. Just saying. Anyway, I do digress. Bobby Lashley does a little thing I was just doing basically for my little antics. He then walks out of the ring. The Street Profits then ask him what does he mean, and he just says, like, pretty much proves it and show him what they've got. Waller then mentions how awkward this was and presents Theory to come out. Austin Theory then comes out because he has a match with Cameron Grimes up next, basically. Now, Grimes, by the way, long time no see, who starts off aggressively with a lovely string of attacks and sets up a bunch of one count pins. He then tries to grab Theory, who kicks him out on the face, taking control of the match. Theory then starts punching Grimes while he's on the ground. Grimes finally riles his back and with some punches as well, but then he tries to land a flying crossbody on the top ropes for a 2. Grimes then misses a kick, but then somersaults over Theory, landing a beautiful German suplex for a 2 count. Grimes then clotheslines Theory outside the ring and then lands another kick. Waller then comes in and distracts Grimes, and then Theory takes control of the match by pushing him into the ring post. Theory then tosses Grimes back into the ring and does his rolling dropkick signature, and then he does an 8-count down for the win. Now, I like this match, and I really love seeing Theory get the win. I always feel a bit disappointed, of course, when NXT call-ups are being left in the dust and getting lost, but I think Theory does deserve a win, and he's an NXT call-up too, but just a more older call-up. The match itself was also high-paced, but also another short and sweet match, and it allowed both wrestlers to get offense in, but Theory certainly looked a lot stronger in this match, and, it was really cool. After the match, we also had a segment where Theory shoved Dragon Lee was basically on stage, because they did like a promo. I didn't really mention it, I didn't think it was noteworthy, but he did do it, they did like a little promo package for him before the match. Next up, we have Kyla Braxton interviewing Rey Mysterio. Now, she mentions that Santos basically mentioned despite the respect of him, he needs to be on his best. Ray mentions that no matter what, the LW is family, and mentions that despite all of that, he should be careful what he wishes for, noting Escobar, and that he's pretty much going to not hold back tonight and may the best man win as well. Next up, we have Jimmy Uso backstage attacking, I think his name is Adonis from Hit Row. He's the only Hit Row member left besides BFAB, right? At this point, I think they let go of Top Dollar, or as Cole called him, Flop Dollar. Anyway, and pretty much everyone tells Jimmy that he should chill out, and she says, "Hey, I'm chilling." Then he tells Solo Sikoa to get him, and then he does a Samoan drop onto Adonis into the table, and then Jimmy says he will not be Cena's partner. So I guess then they're going around attacking people they think is going to be Cena's partner. Then we have them between Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar. It starts with Escobar hitting like a hole, like I forgot the name of it. Like I can never remember the name, but I had it in the other video because I had mentioned the word. But basically, he holds it from the behind, basically, which Mysterio takes some time to get out of. Mysterio tries a head scissor, but Escobar kicks him and jumps on him from the outside. Back in the ring, Mysterio and Escobar, Mysterio gets caught by Escobar in a domino stretch. Then Rey lands an arm drag to get out. They didn't have like a running spot, which Santos wins with a drop kick, catching Rey off guard for a 2 count. Mysterio then lands a Hurricanrana and then jumps off the ropes onto Escobar on the outside. Mysterio then lands a seated senton off the top rope and lands a crossbody with a bad landing, kind of hurting both of them. So there was a moment where they were both on the ground doing a recovery thing they do sometimes. And during that moment, there was a small segment with Jimmy Uso again backstage on a Rampage. Going back to the match, Escobar tries to roll up Mysterio, but Mysterio kicks him and then preps him for the 619. But then he lands a super kick, driving Mysterio out of the ring. He then jumps onto Mysterio from the outside. Then he lands a movesault off the barricade, which is really, really beautiful. After that, Santos lands a turnbuckle Meteor 2 times on Mysterio. He then lifts Rey onto the turnbuckle to try to do something to Mysterio. I don't know what he's gonna do. But then Rey fights back, and Escobar kicks him, and then lands a Hurricanrana, then a springboard for a 2 count. Escobar then does a submission move. I forget the name of it again, unfortunately. But then something special they called it. But then Rey rolls out with another arm drag, and Escobar lands a kick on Rey, but then misses a top rope crossbody. Mysterio then misses a springboard crossbody. Escobar then lands a tilt-a world backbreaker, and then has him in a modified torture rack, which kind of looked like a tilt-a roll that kind of started out with that, and drops it for a 2 count. Mysterio then lands a Hurricanrana, but then Santos catches him, but then he rolls up Santos for a 2, and they struggle on top rope after a while, and then with a few counters on one another. Then Rey Mysterio lands like a modified Frankenstein because he came from behind Santos Escobar and landed it. He then preps Escobar again for the 619, but Escobar catches him, but then he lands him again, and then this time he hits it. Then this time he takes a little time, but then he goes to the top rope to do the splash that ends the 619 move. But then Escobar moves out the way and then elbows him and then pins him up, and then they do like a little roll up combo. But then like nobody wins. Escobar then tries for the Phantom Driver. Then Rey Mysterio reverses and rolls Escobar up for the win. Escobar unfortunately looked really disappointed. I kind of felt bad for him, but Mysterio was celebrating. Yeah, he was checking out Escobar, but he could have done a little bit better, to be honest. But then he wanted to shake his hand at the end, but Escobar was headed to shake his hand. But then before they can even do anything more positive, the Street Profits came out and attacked Mysterio and Escobar, saving a possible heel turn, perhaps? I don't know. Anyway, Lashley then comes out and shows his approval. And then Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro try to run up to help, but then they get splattered. I mean, like, Bobby Lashley's like a back elbow to one of them, just like KOing him like nothing. And then the Street Profits land the cash out. That's what the move is called, like the modified spine buster with the like head like neck breaker combo on one of the members. I don't remember which one. I do apologize. Dragon Lee then tries to help, but then security pops in and stops him, which is funny because security usually not very effective against the wrestlers, but I guess this time it worked. Lashley then celebrates and then shows his approval for the actions of the to Hughes Booze, obviously for the fans. So I'm guessing they finally made their heel turn they've been trying to do for a while. Then we go backstage to the LWO. Kyler Braxton mentions about them being attacked by the Street Profits. Escobar says some stuff in Spanish. I'm guessing that Rey Mysterio translated, stating that if they think that they control SmackDown, they're wrong. The LWO then challenges the Street Profits and Lashley at Fastlane. So that's going to be an interesting match, which we already know that the Street Profits and Lashley will win. But anyway, but I do hope there's a good contention for the LWO. It would be nice to see them put up a good fight. Afterwards, they speak about Jade Cargill, and it seems like they're excited to see her, and actually I am too. I obviously didn't like taking screens of this, but so I'll see if I can get a picture of Jade Cargill on just randomly up here. But it's really cool that they're really talking about like one of the female signees, so I'm really excited for that. And I haven't really seen the AEW, but I do understand she had like a 60 and plus something winning streak before her first loss. So with that, I forgot who would be her. I don't remember because like I said, I really don't watch AEW, so I'm not gonna try to throw out names and be completely wrong. But anyway, I am very excited to see what she's got to bring, and I'm glad that WWE's excited as well, so I'm excited. Afterwards, we have Pretty Deadly's exaggerated recovery angle. Nothing too special to talk about on it. I really didn't take notes of it. I just took the moment to just bask in it and enjoy it. No words, like I said, I just died laughing to it. And it kind of reminded me of one of those old school motivational commercials, which, it was funny because they were making, like, they exaggerated so much that I could see it like it was just a fingerish. They would make it seem like a debilitating injury. The brawling boots also agree, by the way. Next up, we have Charlotte Flair versus Bayley. Now, before the match, Charlotte grabs the mic and says something really interesting. She asks Bayley, "What happened to you?" and mentions that she used to be the Four Horsemen, but now she's just happy being on the sideline with Io carrying her championship for her, and mentions that Bayley has become the stepping stone while Charlotte is the measuring stick. Which I haven't seen it when the Four Horsewomen were around, but I did. There's a lot of mentions of it, or back in WWE as well as on other wrestling pages. So I'm guessing they were kind of a big thing when I wasn't watching. I don't want to speak on it much because I don't know, but apparently they were a big deal. So I can see why that might be a thing, especially because it's based off of I think the Four Horsemen, Ric Flair's old group. So honest to him, I guess. She then mentions when she beats Bayley, she's going to challenge Io after she wins this match. Bayley then starts the match pissed off with a strong assault in the beginning. Charlotte then reverses a turnbuckle toss onto Bayley and then tosses her in and starts doing some chops. Io then grabs Charlotte's leg from the outside, and then Bayley does a crossbody block and then does an elbow from the apron to Charlotte on the outside. Back in the ring, Charlotte lands like a top rope crossbody. She then does a fallaway slam and then her signature flipping clothesline for a 2. Flair then lands a big boot for the 2. Charlotte Flair then attempts to do like a top rope move, but Bayley grabs her leg and tosses her off, and then she lands knees onto her midsection. She then lands a sunset flip for a 2. She then starts punches Flair, and then she starts to tease Ric Flair's walk, and then she starts chopping Flair, but then Flair just runs to the rope and then lands a spear for the win. Now after the match, Bayley then grabs the mic and says, she says, "You think you cut the line and get a championship match?" Damage Control then bursts to attack Charlotte Flair, but then Asuka runs out, and then they all flee. Asuka grabs the mic and she speaks Japanese. I think she would say something like, "Oh, what? Don't be afraid to fight. Come on and bring it," or something like that. Bayley then interprets it as, "You want a triple threat match with Io, Sky, and Charlotte at Fastlane, and then you got it." So basically, Io was like, "No, that's not what she said." So that was really funny. Also, the match itself wasn't bad. nor good. It was really more neutral. I think, as expected, of course, Bayley was going to lose, unfortunately. So there's really no shocker there. And I think that this mostly served as a way to fill the card for Fastlane now, because the card for Fastlane seems pretty empty at this exact moment. So I honestly think that was really the main purpose for this particular match, was to pretty much fill the card. Afterwards, we have the senior contract segment. Cena mentions that while the Bloodline left them knocked out, they made one mistake and they left because they left them with the contract. He mentions there's an issue because he doesn't have a partner, and he mentioned that he needs to choose between ripping the contract up and like it never happened, or fighting. Now, we already know Cena's a fighter, so, because never give up, right? And we know he's going to fight regardless. But he said that he would, and he even proved it himself afterwards, saying that he will fight no matter what, even if it's fighting a handicap match. The Bloodline then comes out. I'm sure they got excited about that. Jimmy then mentioned that if Cena saw what they were doing backstage to any potential prospects, then he wouldn't be so confident. Now, I don't know what prospects you're talking about. Like, what Adonis, who I think is a heel anyway, and unless they changed it when Top Dollar unfortunately got fired. And then staffers, I don't think the staffers are gonna help. Anyway, he then tries to get in, but then Cena elbows him and then tells Sikoa to come in and fight. So then goes in for the Samoan Spiper that Cena catches and preparing him for the AA, the Attitude Adjustment. But then, just like last week, Jimmy comes in and super kicks Cena, and then they attack Cena several times in the corner, doing like body bumps. I don't know what they call that move. They then prep Cena to slam it, to do a jump off the announce table. But then LA Knight comes out, which is really good because he wasn't there last week. He comes out and beats them both up, and he stomps Jay. And then Soul tries to come from behind, but then he counters him and does like a neck breaker. And then he does his usual really cool power slam to Jimmy. And then he does the LA Knight, yeah, elbow on the Jimmy Uso. Cena then comes in and tosses Solo out the ring, and then Knight comes in and tosses Jimmy out the ring. Cena and Knight then stare each other down for a second, and Knight grabs the contract and signs his name. Cena was excited and shocked, and Knight gives him the clipboard, and they pretty much mentioned that, he's kind of gesturing that it's going to be him and Cena versus the Bloodline. And I really love this. That was a really cool segment. The fan ovation for LA Knight is still amazingly huge, and I really love to see the fans get behind them like this. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with this, and I really, really hope that this momentum continues. And I think they might be actually leading to LA Knight versus Roman Reigns at one point. Who knows, right? It's a little early in my opinion, but you know what though? I wouldn't say no. I like a little chaos here and there. So let's go. Let's make LA Knight the undisputed world heavyweight champion. I ain't gonna say no to that. Even though I do think he should win the US title first, or the Intercontinental first. But I'm not against chaos. So overall, this SmackDown, I really thought it was really, really good. I think that it really brought a lot of hype for the next event, like the Fastlane, and the matches were short but sweet. Like I said, this was really a story-centric SmackDown. Like, I try to rate my SmackDowns based on a combination of story and matches, so I really do like the story it was telling. The matches were kind of short and sweet. Now I know some people may disagree, and that's totally fine, because I get it, but I remember the Attitude Era back in the day. They had some good matches. Raw was the best back then, but now SmackDown's much better, if I could be honest with you. So I have much more fun viewing SmackDown than I do Raw these days, to be honest with you. But anyway, they had like a lot of good segments, and I really enjoyed it. I really hope that they continue this momentum, and I'm looking forward to see what comes next for SmackDown. I also want to mention that this video is officially done, so thank you guys for watching. I know I forgot to mention it, I haven't mentioned it recently, but I do have a Twitter. I'm going to finally put it up here the right way this time. It's Pickle Ningen on X, or whatever you want to call it, Twitter, X, whatever, who cares. And if you did make it to the end, thank you so much for watching, guys. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm really trying to keep doing these wrestling videos, but so far I haven't really been seeing a lot of new subscribers coming from it, but I have been getting a few wrestling fans on Twitter, so that's really cool. So, like I said, please definitely support my channel. I really want to grow this. I want to keep doing this. I eventually want to move to this full time. So, if you guys could definitely like, comment, and subscribe, that would be lovely. I don't want to be that person. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I don't know. My right hand doesn't do the same. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, I really appreciate it, guys, and I hope you guys all have. Yeah, for some reason it doesn't look both. I'll have to work on that. Anyway, I am making some adjustments to the camera, as you see as well, so it's a little bit more fluid. But for some reason, it doesn't really catch both hands when I block my face. See? Okay, anyway, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and Spontaneously Pickled is out. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Bye.